going to give the floor now to Jacques.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not going to speak so easily because I'm not a native speaker. You know, Mrs. Thatcher once said all the problems in my lifetime have come from English-speaking countries, and all the solutions have come from English-speaking countries. Louder, sorry. So I'll try to speak, but I wrote something as a result of talks with other groups, because I'm a member of Attack France. You know that Attack is present in 45 countries. But I am also speaking in the name of other groups of this coalition, a coalition that has never existed before to such an extent. When Kennedy came to Berlin, as you know, before the collapse, years before the collapse of the wall, he said, "Ich bin ein Berliner auch." I am a Berliner too. I think that today, without the same flourish, of course, without the same context, I agree, we are many here to be able to tell, before the collapse of another wall perhaps, that we also are Jersey people. We are Jersey folk. We love this island. Personally, I've known this island for years, since my childhood, as a person from Normandy, quite simply. And I think that this island deserves better than this naming and shaming status that is the result of international stigmatization and so on. We are many here before the G20 meeting to share the same views coming from different horizons. Simply to say enough is enough. Scrap those tax avoidance and finance practices that cost so much to so many. And if places like Jersey, but in London as well, this happens, it can be changed very rapidly, and I'm afraid it will have to change, as you know. We know that the first victims of tax havens are people within tax havens, as Rosemary has said. Lots of our friends can confirm this. What has been done for large countries that escaped the rule of Soviet communism can be easily achieved for smaller entities. We are many to know this island, I said that again, and to know that it can be made, and this island could be a laboratory for all tax havens for change. It is a duty that I think the government should take into account. Many years ago, the great English poet John Donne said, "No man is an island." That was the time of the first globalization, the time of the first great sea exploration, globalization in a way. Today in the global village, in this today globalization, we know that no island is isolated. No one here, or in the Caribbean islands, nor in Hong Kong, can pretend or claim that we are apart, that they are apart, that they are aside, that they are away from the other global realities on the margin. You, as a finance center, are fully involved in the center of this globalization. And this creates responsibilities. It is probably a problem, as you said, of secrecy that has to be tackled first. We believe also that it's a battle, it's a race between public opinion in the world and some, very few decision makers that in fact have hijacked this world in their own interests, to put it very simply. We believe it's not acceptable, it's not fair that a cinema star or a Bono-like singer or a French or Italian football singer a football player playing in a British team be paid most of his earnings in Jersey or similar places through a fictitious trust simply to avoid taxation. Sometimes keeping one small percentage of his earnings in London or Paris to maintain the fiction that they are European and that they can duly take advantage of the European provisions in matter of health and business. At the very moment, as Rosemary said, and this is not well known in the rest of Europe, there are people here, Jersey-born people, a minority in their own land, I believe, who are not eligible to the same rights. And this alone speaks volumes about what secrecy and tax practices here means. You know that when Britain joined the EU, the Common Market then, in 1973, you had this famous Protocol 3 that was a kind of status that maintained the exceptionality of the crown possessions. And this was the first legal trick, if I may say so, that permitted the development of this finance industry. So we at Attack and other groups believe that there is legitimacy for an industry based on finance, giving the technical requirements of all the complex elements of finance today within a framework that is transparent, that is open to accountability. I am going to stop because it's a long case and we're going to discuss that later on. To conclude, if I may conclude, we believe that there are none so deaf as those who don't want to hear. But today I think there are more and more people who are ready to hear here and in other places. The writing is on the wall for Jersey as a tax haven, I'm afraid, and for other comparable places. We believe that an international alliance between some of the key players of the Western world, the USA, Germany, France, and other countries, can now emerge, is now emerging, and can create a new situation that can virtually overnight outlaw any exchange between their national companies and subsidiaries artificially located in tax havens, as the French government did already a few years ago with another tax haven that has disappeared from the surface of finance, that was Nauru. Try and explore the case of Nauru. It's a case that is amazing. It had one of the highest GDP in the 60s. It's one of the poorest countries in the world today. So I wouldn't like Jersey to experience the same kind of scenario, and it's still time to avoid that. We hope that G20 will give some perspectives. We are not certain that the perspectives that are emerging are enough, because we believe that as the Appel des Juges de Genève, a Geneva Court in 1996 made it clear, we believe that it is an automatic exchange of information that should be installed, quite simply implemented. Not on request with all the complexities and the discussion, the compromise, it's something that we have as taxpayers in most countries. A judge can access our accounts easily. This should be universal. Thank you for listening.